Once again, Allahu Akbar. Time actually is 1:19. It's Sunday. This is the third video today to continue this eternal work of Baha'u'llah. Last time we, on the last video, Baha'u'llah spoke of that. He says that I put a cap, a closed cap on this secret, and I bore this pearl, bore it in a hidden ways so no one can know. Now he says why, the reason for that is, as I told in a secret way, because of this. Because تا نیفتد چشم بد بر روی او, till not to get cast upon him چشم, the eye of a bad eye, bad on his face. I told you secretly because I don't want a bad eye falls onto him, wrong eyes to look at him. تا نبیند, till not to see, غیر, غیر here is the enemy really, the others, غیر, those who are not in line with him. راه, his way, meaning really the address. راه, the address of کوی, his street. Kui means lane, it's a street. Means, you know, abode. He says, I kept that secret because I don't want a bad eye to fall on his face, and the enemies, others, the one that are non-friend, to find the address to his place. See, these are, you know, sometimes become difficult to understand. Have you noticed in the history of the religion, let's talk about Baha'i faith for example, when the Bab was supposed to come in 1844, only the friend will take it seriously and awaits for him before his enemies. Their enemies either are too late or they're too early, as in case with Jesus Christ and Moses. They started killing a lot of the babies because they found maybe Moses or Jesus is among them. But they were too early. They were not on time. Jesus and Moses would go. The friend, as it progresses when it comes to Islam and Baha'i faith, actually the friends would know about his coming and are ready to receive him before enemies do. None of the enemies, bad people, would not believe in Bab coming. Only the good people would know. There's a point in this. You cannot simply accept Baha'u'llah unless you're a good person. You have to have a trace of him in you in order to be able to recognize him. Just like you require a trace of physics in order to know Einstein, a trace of music in order to appreciate Beethoven, a trace of painting to enjoy Rembrandt, and so on and so forth. In the case of Baha'u'llah and the manifestation of God, you have to have a little bit of him in you, some goodness in you. Bad people, sons of a gun, are not able to become a Baha'i. However, children, the next generations, this is the case with the Iranian, they call themselves Baha'i, but not like their parents or great parents. They have never investigated it for themselves to know. They're simply it because it's been inherited. The worst inheritance is the inheritance of the religion. You should never inherit that. That's a wrong inheritance. You have to investigate and find it for yourself. It's the case. Always those who found the Baha'i faith on their own are firmer and more steadfast into the faith. Of course, the others can do that too, but they will have to go to investigate it for themselves. Simply, I'm a Baha'i because of my parents. It's the same thing, you know, deja vu all over. It's just like Christians and Muslims, you know. They are Muslim because they're born in Islamic ways. So Baha'u'llah says that eye is on you. We have never given that eye. So the bad people would not be able to wait for him, to kill him. They don't take him serious. Good people do. And when he comes, he's among a friend. So enemies, they can't, you know, obliterate him in that way. But there's more to it. We will see now, later on. He says, همچنین در کل اعضاء این بدان. Same way, همچنین, in the same way, در means in the same way, چنین means way, in the same way, كل, in all the أعضاء. Eye, ear, hand, leg, the whole body. They're different. They're all called in Persian uzv, members. He says, in the same way in all the members of your body, not just the eye, in ear, in hand, he says, you understand it's all him. He has given this hand to take things with it. So in the same way, in all the members, this you should know. Not just I, but everything. Tawrahi, till you emancipate, as from the qaid, from the captivity, from the chain, qaid, chain of this zulmautian. We talked a few videos before, if you have followed this. Zulamat means sheer darkness, is where Alexander went up north to found, you know, the water of life, and as a result they think he's, you know, almost like a prophet. He couldn't do it, somebody else did it. And Khizr, they say, went with Alexander, and he drank and he became eternal. So Zolamat, the dark place where there's fountain of the eternal water that is there, the Sufis believe in that. There is such a place in Zolamat where this water of life is there. They took it so literally. So Zolamat means that darkness. You know, Zolamat, darkness. Zulmatian is this follower of this darkness. It's a reference to the Sufis. Sufis are Zulmatian, the followers of the darkness. Literally, they think there's a dark place where you can go and drink the water of life. Many of them did, many of them do. Baha'u'llah says to understand that God uses you and all the members of your body, eyes and ears and everything, is because of him. He sees through it. He hears through it. If you focus on the frequency, you hear the radio. Understand, this is the case, he says. So you may emancipate from the chain of these Zulmatiyan, these Sufis. That right now in Iran, they've taken over, that Islam and the Ayatollah and all are bad, and they're trying to go to these stories. It goes, we talked about eye, now it talks about goosh. Goosh means ear. Goosheto. چون نغمه رازش شنید گوش تو, ears of yours, your ear. چون when نغمه melody of his mystery, raz, mystery, razش, his mystery, heard, when your ear heard the melodies of his secret, of his mystery. رازهای جانی از سازش شنید. Beautiful. Raz, we said that Raz means mystery. Razha means the mysteries. Jani means the spiritual. Jan, souls. Jani means souli. Soul, from soul. Related to soul. When I heard, he says, those mysteries, spiritual mysteries, from Saz Shanid, from his instrument, Saz. Saz means the instrument, you know, like you play. There's a string instrument, would be called a saz. The saz, as he plays, he says, from his saz, Shanid means you heard, his saz, those mysteries, چون که صنع ایزدی گشته عیان. Because that son means the word sanat means industry. Son means creation. It's the inventions, you see. It says, because this sons, this creation of Izadi, Izad means Allah in original Persian language. Because this creation of God has become cleared, which is what? Which is your ear, which is your eyes. چشم بر او کن از این خلق جهان. چشم, look, eyes, focus. بر او کن, چشم بر او کن means focus your eyes. Look at him as from this khalq, creations of the universe. He says, look at him, not of this khalq jahan, the creatures of the world. You've seen, you have, he says, this invention, this industry, creation of God, which is your ears, your eyes. This instrument of God is in you. Now that you heard those melodies, those are spiritual melodies, look at him. Do not look at others. If you, Garto, if you bow with Chashmash, with his eyes, which is in you, Jahan Ra Bengari, Jahan, the universe, that Ra means the universe, Bengari, to look at, to observe. If you observe the universe with his eyes, بر هزاران ملک معنی پی بری, and to thousands of mulk. Mulk means land. Mulk means your possessions, anything else of this life. But mulk ma'ani, ma'ani means spiritual. And to thousands of the spiritual possession, you find, paybari means realize, you realize thousands of mulk ma'anavi. Mulk refers to land, you know, but a spiritual land, thousands, he says, you will find if you look at it. So, the secret, he says here, the point of these lines is that the eye of God that's in you will find God. He is made in such a way, whatever intelligent, whatever smart, whatever capable of the person is, if he is not a good person, if he is not a spiritual person, he would not accept Baha'u'llah. What a criteria now, if this is the case, you see? I know it is the case, but if you know it, So you want to trust somebody to marry? You want to trust somebody to do business with? You want to trust anybody for anything's very big and very important. Never mind teaching in Baha'i faith. Just talk about Baha'u'llah and the Baha'i teaching to him. If he opposes it completely, stay away from him. Tell you that right now. It would be a bad news. But if he says, hey, it could be right, it might be right, it might be nice, you know, this is nice, it's great, you can trust him. Because chashme bad, bad eyes, will not fall onto him. Chashme bad is something that Persian, they have that. My mother had always. She had 5 daughters. That would be my sister. They died. 2 boys died. She had, I think, 12 kids. Only 5 left. And Persians, especially in my village probably, they say if a person look at your son and your daughter with the eye of jealousy and says, wow, my God, she's so beautiful, he's so beautiful. And if he has a bad eye, the child might get sickness and die. Superstition. I know there's lots of it in England too. So this is a superstition, chashme bad, that Abdu'l-Baha speaks of it in the some unanswered questions. Says there's nothing bad in the eye, but there's something bad in the intention of a person that might affect things. So here Baha'u'llah says this secret, I told it secretly because I don't want a bad eye to fall onto him. You know, I don't want a wrong person to find his address. Now I said all of these things. The secret is unraveled. Do you think some really heavy-duty bad guys, I don't know, whoever is doing a lot of bad things in the world, says, good, I'm a bad guy, but I'm going to call myself a Baha'i, and I want to be a Baha'i, and I want to teach Baha'i faith. What do you think is going to happen? Even, this is very strange, even his intention is to harm the faith, but comes in and try to be active in the faith, in the course of time it'll change. It happened in Iran. There were few enemies, so-called, they would penetrate the Fait of God to say that, oh yeah, we're interested, we want to know about Baha'i faith, and they come to the Baha'i gatherings and this and that, and they even take some books. Their initial idea was to harm the faith. They came in, when they read the book, they were amazed to see that, my God, this might be true. They turned real Baha'i. And they confessed that later, that our idea was to come to harm you. But we found that you're not what they say it is, what we thought it is. So, this is the refining power of Baha'u'llah, that you bring his name, you get his cause, and you go to teach. Even if you're Satan, you turn into a good person. As long as you don't just call yourself Baha'i and you're heading to become the member of Universal House of Justice or National or become a consular or anything like that. If those things are in your head, you're not going to get anywhere. And watch out for those people who have this kind of a sense of a leadership. Oh, my wish is to become the member of Universal House of Justice or a consulars or anything like that. This is a very, tricky. I'm not going to say it's bad. It's very tricky. I hear a person talk like that, I lose my interest in him. Okay. But the person says, no, I want to teach the whole world Baha'i faith. I want to bring thousands of people into Baha'i. Go ahead. That's good. That's good. That's good. So you think, no, I don't believe in God. I'm totally believing in Satan, but I'm getting paid to go to teach Baha'i faith because I want to bring thousands of people into the faith and then tell them all it's wrong. Go on. You know what happens? You will become a real Baha'i after. If there's a shred of goodness in you, you will. And if you're really bad, this happens again. That some people, truly they were Baha'is. As they came into Baha'i faith, by studying it, they gradually found that no, this is not their cup of tea, this is not their forte. We have few of them in the Baha'i faith. One of them was this Abare, who has written a fantastic 2-volume, an introduction of the Baha'i faith. Then, I don't know, he was smoking Teriak, which means the opium, in Stuttgart, Germany. And Abdu'l-Baha tells him that, you have to stop these things. And I guess his objection, he was that Abdu'l-Baha, many people do many things, I just do this, can you let go of this? And Abdu'l-Baha says, not because you're a Baha'i teacher, you should. So he actually resent Abdu'l-Baha, and he threatened him that I'm going to take all these people that they came in, I'm going to take them out of the faith. Threatening Abdu'l-Baha. He was a great Baha'i teacher. So he went and wrote 4 volumes book, I think 3 volumes or 4, I think 3 or 4. Such a profanity, such a lies, absolute lies. There's no historical evidence of it, any damn things he says. And Muslim financed him and he wrote the book, totally against the original book that he wrote. Not a single Baha'i got affected, not a single Muslim even read his book. It's totally lost. One of them was a person, I think, that he became Baha'i through him, and he goes and tells him, hey, listen, I've been in this Baha'i faith many years, these are wrong ones, and you gotta let go of it, just like me, it's just a lie, it's this and that. The person told him, as the Persian they talk, he told him, I was lost in desert, dying, out of thirst, out of hunger, and I heard the barking of a dog. I immediately went towards the barking of the dog because I knew when dog barks there has to be people around here. I was right. From the barking of the dog, I went there and I found the city. Now I'm in the city. Now the same dog is barking, telling me this is not the city. He says, of course I laugh at the dog, he says. The implication is that you're like that dog, that I heard you barking and I came to Baha'i faith. Now you're telling me that Baha'i faith is not the right things? You see? This is an example that the fellow was a good person. Later on he changed his mind. He turned into, an arrogant bastard, and became Cheshme Bad, became that bad eye. It could not fall on Baha'u'llah. It was just cast right out, just like a bad food, taken out of the mouth of God, couldn't digest him, couldn't have him, go away. So this line is very important. But Baha'u'llah says, except those who are sincere, they will not be able to see God. Insinceres, they play any plot, any conspiracy, anything to come on to take over, they turn themselves into Baha'i. But one thing hurts Baha'i faith though, that I know. That is what Shobi Effendi says from the unwisdom of his followers. There are many Baha'is, like you, like I, like me, that we're having all the good intention in our heart, but we're ignorant, sincerely we're stupid. And that stupidity harms Baha'u'llah. Unintentional. But can do that. The faith will suffer because of that. Very well, I guess this session is over. I have to continue.